to Gospel Insights Pulse, an occasional brief commentary that checks the pulse of the faithful for signs of life in advancing the kingdom of God. We look at things happening in the nation and in the world and see how the teachings of Jesus toward leading the kingdom life now are being applied or not. I'm Bruce Seaman, a retired Presbyterian minister who is working out his freedom to say pretty much whatever he wants. I am no longer beholden to a church for my livelihood. Eat your hearts out, active colleagues. Where saying the wrong thing can send you and your family packing, uprooted from your income, your home, your community, your connections, your relationships, and off into the wilderness, a journey I took several times with my family. So, what shall we talk about today? Well, I'm sure you've noticed there's been a great deal of hand-wringing over the merger of evangelical Christians and Trump politics since the 2016 election revealed that about 80% of evangelicals voted for Trump and then continued to support everything Trump did and said for the next 4 years, with most voting for him again in 2020. Many reached the feverish pitch of believing that Trump is God's chosen, the anointed, the Messiah, and that God would somehow divinely intervene and enable Trump to continue as president despite having lost the election. And on January 6th, we witnessed just how unhinged these people are. And the commentary trying to parse the odd relationship between Trump and the Christians has been in a steady stream. What I haven't seen is the connection between Trump supporters and the long-standing platform of the American civil religion. Now, if you're unfamiliar with our national civil religion by that title, you know it nonetheless intuitively and have likely practiced it. Now, Pulse episodes are supposed to be brief, like 5 minutes or so. But these first episodes are an exception already. But there is a lot in this. So, I promise in the future I'll try to keep Pulse pieces a bit more bite-sized. And if you're well-versed in the national civic religion, you may want to skip this one and just subscribe on YouTube to check out the next one, or follow us at Gospel Insights on Twitter, or like Gospel Insights on Facebook, all of which you should do anyway, right? Okay. However, if the American civil religion is a new concept for you, then let me try to bring you up to speed. The civil religion came to most people's attention in the 1960s through the study of famed sociologist Robert Bellah and the further work by Martin Marty into the 1970s. The civil religion has roots in the beginning of the European conquest of the Americas. Many of the first European invaders here were persecuted religious minorities, mostly Christians. And naturally, they cast their invasion and occupation of the native lands as a religious enterprise, a mission to save the pagan savages, a divine right to embrace God's providence of this land for themselves, and other sanctifying, sanctimonious apologies for invasion, exploitation, and cruel violence. And this is what is meant when people say that the United States is a, quote, Christian nation, end quote. Just regurgitating the bile of the past. The civil religion has been around for a long time then, but it got a big boost in the 1950s. In the Cold War era, Christians aligned with national interests against the godless communists. The surge in patriotism was scrambled with a vague religiosity that brought us the National Day of Prayer in 1952, what became the National Prayer Breakfast in 1953, the addition of Under God to the Pledge of Allegiance in 1954, and the replacement of the official national motto with In God We Trust in 1956. It had been E pluribus unum from many one previously. It meant that sanctuaries across the land would have the national flag placed within their sanctuary space if they didn't have one already, often alongside a Christian flag, to make it seem like Old Glory somehow belonged there Was it really an object of worship? That's a laugh, right? The national flag is a sacred totem of the national civil religion, as sacred as the cross for Christians. Well, for some, because many Christians would be more upset at some improper use of the flag than the cross. And there's a whole book about how to handle and engage the flag, how you fly it, how you fold it, how you dispose of it, etc. The flag is central in sacred ceremonies of the national civil religion, when it is typical for a true believer to stand at attention with hand over heart and recite the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag while focused on the flag, often followed by the singing of the official national anthem, a tortuous ordeal in both music and in singing. Any variations are met with viscerally hostile disapproval. You don't raise your fist. You don't kneel. You are calling attention to yourself and to your cause and distracting from and profaning the national icon of civil religious faith and practice. People go utterly apeshit.
Apeshit is a perfectly acceptable weapon. Throw it wisely. A little bit goes a long way.
The civil religion is the inspiration of Irving Berlin's God Bless America, the unofficial national anthem, which asks a God of no specific religious belief or practice to give its blessing to this single nation. And it has been a long time since presidents have failed to close their formal remarks with the words, God bless America, or God bless something American. Since presidents are like chief priests of the national civil religion, they must play their role or be seen as heretics. Could you imagine Barack Obama not ending a speech with God bless America? Oh, hell no. They would have roasted his ass. This national God is very interested in violent national sacrifice, focusing on military service, law enforcement, even fire services, being employed generously whenever there is a death in the line of duty. One historian called Memorial Day ceremonies a modern cult of the dead for civil religionists. The sacrifice of individuals is done for freedom. Freedom requires sacrifice of individual lives. For the God of the civil religion, to ensure freedom, there must be sacrifice and lives must be lost. If it sounds like a cult of the dead, yeah, it is. There's actually a whole lot more to our national freedom than simply military men and women dying, flags being respected, etc. But those other things are not part of the national civil religion, and we don't really care about them unless they can be used as tools in support of the national civil religion. The national God is also the God of law and order, a God of traditional values, a God of white cultural domination, if not an outright racist God in white circles, a God of unfettered capitalism that values gaining wealth and disdains those who have not gained wealth and stability, who need help because they're screw-ups, immoral, stupid, lazy, and a parasitic burden on society. The national civil religion is frankly a nasty piece of work when you dig into the details. And given the right evolution of circumstances, its toxic brew stewing in the churches and in society at large is really a recipe for the disaster. We'll deal more with that next time. Again, subscribe to Gospel Insights on YouTube, follow at Gospel Insights on Twitter, and like Gospel Insights on Facebook. Now let's check for a pulse for the kingdom from the civil religion. Well, that wasn't good. That wasn't good at all. That's a flat line. Well, we'll try again next time.